How does elevation change affect F1 circuits? Imagine racing through a track where the ground rises and falls like a roller coaster. Elevation changes on Formula One circuits can make a big difference in how cars perform and how drivers handle their machines. These changes are not just about the view. They influence aerodynamics, suspension, engine power, and even tire wear. Tracks like Spa-Francorchamps and the Red Bull Ring are famous for their steep climbs and descents, adding a layer of challenge that makes each lap exciting. When a car climbs a hill, the aerodynamic load shifts, pushing the car harder into the track. This means teams often raise the front ride height to keep the downforce optimal and prevent the chassis from scraping the ground. Going downhill can reduce grip because the car lifts slightly, which can make braking and cornering trickier. Elevation also affects suspension because, as the car hits crests or dips, the suspension compresses or rebounds, putting extra stress on components. Teams need to set up their suspension to absorb these vertical forces smoothly without losing handling precision. At higher altitude circuits like Mexico City's Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, the thinner air means less oxygen for the engine. This results in a drop in power output because the engine cannot burn fuel as efficiently. To counter this, teams often tune engines differently and adjust aerodynamics to keep the car competitive. Drivers also have to adapt their driving style to these changes. Blind corners and crests make braking points less obvious, so drivers relying on experience and quick reflexes to stay safe and fast. Tire wear can increase because of the extra mechanical load from elevation changes, especially in sections with steep climbs or drops. Managing tire temperature and degradation becomes more important on circuits with significant elevation variation. Teams often adjust their car setup by increasing front ride height and stiffening suspension to handle the vertical forces. Drivers modify their approach by changing braking zones and throttle application to suit uphill or downhill sections. These elevation profiles shape the character of circuits like Spa-Francorchamps and the Red Bull Ring, making them unique and challenging. Overall, elevation changes add a layer of complexity to Formula One racing, affecting everything from aerodynamics to driver technique. Teams and drivers must work together to adapt their strategies and setups to conquer these ups and downs, making each race a test of skill and precision.